Alright, we're going live, guys. Alright, sorry I had my deep reader glasses on. So, get rid of that, sorry. I still have a lot of work to do on production stuff. Alright. Ooh, here we go. Where are we? Alright, guys. just working on some details here. This is why I started this live stream. Is we have to do some work with people. The community as a whole is not understanding this whole sun shift thing. And there's one excellent way to prove it, and that is to take your noonday shadow. Good morning, Epic. Thank you for all of the hard work yesterday. And this is your homework, Epic, and everybody on the live stream. Do a measurement of your noonday shadow. Okay? Do a measurement of your noonday shadow. I'm already looking at it here. I am in Spain, the Iberian Peninsula. I'm a good, 12 degrees off the equator. And so my shadow, I should not have a shadow. I should have at least a minimum shadow. And right now, it's 11:30, and everything's casting a long shadow. Everything's casting a long shadow. So, it shouldn't be there. There should be no shadow at noon. At 11:38, the shadow should be shrinking, and yet everything's casting a long shadow. So I sent an email to Shepard this morning, or last night before I went to bed, and asked him to check. What equipment can be used? A sundial. Just your body. Use your body to measure your shadow, and then do a YouTube search. Say that 10 times real fast and be Southern. Do a YouTube search on measuring what time it is by the cast of your shadow. You don't need a sundial. You are the sundial. The benefit of the sundial is the measurement's already there for you to measure the time. So your body's a sundial. You can use anything you want to. If you have an iPhone, you can use the measuring device to measure your shadow. So right now it's 11:30 in Madrid. So Epic, it should be what, 10:30 your time? Right past tea time. So you should be good to go. You should have fortitude. And there is a good 54-second delay into what I say, what you pick up, and and you hear versus what you type. So there's at least a good minute and a half. All right. Something else. So I posted. I think many of y'all are familiar with Ray and Ray's astro photography, which he does a brilliant job of. He is so talented, and his methodology is just amazing. And I'm not picking on Ray. Ray, I'm not picking on you. This is not a troll video at all, but this is just a fine example of somebody that is methodical about what he does. And he is taking pictures, some gorgeous pictures of the moon and of Comet Atlas. And just for a trial balloon, just because it's interesting to do. I said, well, Ray, this is a 5:30 a.m. in Michigan. Hey, Jimbo, good job. Yeah, good job. Jimbo is a very favorite name of mine, by the way, because I am Southern. And my big brother in the fraternity, his name was Jimbo, Jim Bob, James Robert, of course, if you're going to go by the Christian name. So Jimbo, welcome to the Breadcrumbs Project. So I said, Ray, they're made of rock and dust. How are we able to take pictures of it? It was a deeper comment than that. And Ray is just so kind and gentle and says, well, comets are made of ice, ignoring everything that I said and the proof, that I'm pointing to. And he just went on, the merry way of, well, they retain all of the information of 4.5 billion years of our solar system. I mean, it was just long and dear and just, just charming. But he hasn't a shred of proof of what those words are saying. What he is telling me is a Disney fairy tale of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yes, there are dwarfs, and yes, there are women in history, but the whole fairy tale is built on a story. But you go back in history, and you're just not going to find that happening. So that's great. And 100 years ago, the story was that our comets that we saw, obviously, it can't be dust and rock. They're made of ice, guys. 100 years ago. So the amazing and very expensive piece of science equipment called Rosetta, which is a satellite and a comet chaser, catches up to Comet 67P, sends its little lander, Phileas, to land on there, and it's a disaster because it's just nothing that they had predicted. Their postulation, even though there was a great deal of photographic proof already in the system that it was just going to be dust and just a light gravity, and so they were ready for ice. Their little lander was ready to have its little probes. Yes, Epic is called regurgitating. The probe landed, it bounced because it wasn't expecting a weak gravitational field. It was expecting something a little more, with a little more substance because it was made of a dense thing called ice, but actually it's made of a very undense thing called dust, with the benefit of a few rocks that gives it a little more consistency. So, in one way, it was a disaster for the Rosetta project, and heartbreaking because the little lander Phileas couldn't do all of the science that it wanted to do on this comet, on this active comet. It was not a stationary asteroid. 67P, look it up, please do, is an active asteroid. I mean, an active comet, an active moving comet, and so it wasn't close to the sun when they landed on it. So it should have been frozen. It wasn't in a gassy state. It wasn't outgassing. So one of their first very surprising observations, and please notice that academic scientists are always surprised. Engineers are rarely surprised. They're pissed because they get bad information from academic science and researchers, so they have to adjust all of their data with the crap that the academia says, and then put real science to work in engineering, which is what I do. I'm an engineer. So I'm looking for anything that can prove me wrong by my engineering standard, that comets are nothing more than dust and rock, and I have not one picture proof and not one numeric piece of data that indicates anything of any ice on the surface, or any within 20 inches of the surface of a comet, because America, NASA, just like we do, man, just like we do. We're going to get good science. We're sending a projectile into that motherfucker. We're going to hit it with something, hit it hard. We're going to explode it, and we're going to pull as much information as we can out of the debris cloud that comes off of it. Traces of hydrogen, traces of oxygen, which are abundant in the solar system, but no indications of water ice. Okay, so every bit of science that we have says there's no water ice on this planet. And bless his heart if Ray just went on about that. So, this is what we're up against, people. Everybody's going to be down there. And all three theirs are misspelled for all of you grammar freaks who like to have fun with this stuff. all three there's are because of the ignorance of these people. And it's not that they're ignorant; they're just regurgitating bad information. So if you want to go see the comment thread, stop by Ray's. He does great work, but his fundamental belief of a comet is a fairy tale. It's 1,000-year-old. It's as good of a fairy tale as any Brothers Grimm fairy tale. And you hate to prove somebody wrong when they just fundamentally believe this. But here we go, guys. So your homework, and I'm about to go do it. It's 11:40 my time here in Madrid, Spain, and I'm going to capture as much data and try to back it up and post what I can in a couple hours till I also have to work about what time it is and how long my shadow is. And so it's going to be a wondrous event. I'm keeping this short so it doesn't take a long time for this to process with YouTube, because our epic, I'm going to call it a show, for lack of a better word, because I put production into this, guys. Look at this. Look at this window work. So I'm going to go measure my shadow. Do I have any volunteers who want to moderate the thread, because I can keep the stream session going? I just can't stay here. Any volunteers? Any volunteer moderators? Okay, you can do it at 12. Epic. Very cool. Hey, Spartan, you want to be a moderator? Who wants to monitor the thread? And I think I can keep it open without a monitor, actually, because I can keep an eye on it as well with my other devices. And you people are pretty nice. The only reason I need a monitor is if somebody comes in and just starts hammering you guys. And I know you're all big boys and can fight back, but I worry about you. Epic, really? All right. So yeah, we can keep doing it. I'm going to come back after measuring my shadow and give a live report. All right. So then, with all that going forward, this will not spool into a video. All right. Oh, you're forever a mod until I take it away from you. So behave yourself. All right. No T-spats in the conversation on the thick of the conversation thread. Good Lord. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night. It was great though, man. It was great. It was deep sleep, but not much of it. All right. So no Earl Grey spats on the thread. All right, Spartan. Very cool. Very, very cool. And I'll show you mine in one of the threads as well. It's a little thing like this. It's a little battery backup and solar panel thing. It's nice and heavy, and it can power my iPad and my iPhone. And by that, I'm good to go. Pip pip, old bean. Wink wink, nudge nudge. It's a dead parrot. The parrot is no more. The parrot has ceased to exist. It is no longer on our earthly plane. And, that's where we are. I mean, trying to convince somebody right now to look at their shadow and measure it at noon is just going to be absolutely impossible. But, I mean, go out right now, guys, where you're at, and you're going to see your shadow just doesn't look right. All right, it is 11:15. I am popping off of the thread and gonna go do my shadow work. Yeah, I love my little solar charger. It's my new friend, although I'm Army trained, I was in the Army. I'm not a big prepper, because I understand if the collapse of the system is the collapse of the system. We're all, you're just not going to do it alone. You can survive on your own, but you're going to have to help everybody else. One of the very cool things of here in Spain is is really what we have not had a collapse of our agricultural system and our meat production system and our eggs and everything else, because we are barely an economic strength here in Spain, but we are very much an agrarian society. So we grow everything ourselves, and here in the north of Spain, we are very proud of our meats. So the Galician region, they have their own cow stock, their own butchery, and if you're going to eat meat in Galicia, it's Galician meat. If you're in the Basque region, and if you're going to eat Basque, and if you're going to eat meat in the Basque region, the País Vasco, then you're going to eat Basque meat. And if you go to Catalonia, it ain't going to be Basque, and it certainly is not going to be Galician. It's going to be Catalonia, and this is where Barcelona is. It's going to be Catalonian beef. And then the south of Spain is just grateful for what they get, honestly, because it's just desert. There you go. All right, guys. So here I have to go do my work, and the comment thread will be going throughout the day, and I'll be popping in and out of the comment thread as well. So let me put this in place and see how this looks. All right, guys, I am back and live. All right, there's no denying it now. I have a shadow of 1.5 meters perfectly. I have a perfect shadow of 1.5 meters. So it's high noon. I should have maybe, and I'm an American, so let me use American standards. I should have maybe a 3 or 4 inch shadow, not a 9 foot shadow. A meter is roughly a yard. So, I'm sorry. A meter is roughly a yard. So, anyways, yeah. So I should not have a yard and a half roughly shadow at this time, but 1.2 meters, right? So I'm closer to the equator than you are, Epic. Unfortunately for you, it's beautiful here, lovely day. I'm sure it is for you as well. So do the math. From the distance between us, and I'm in Murcia, Spain, close to Santiago, to where you are in Kent, 0.3 meters is exactly it. All right, Epic. Yeah, I'm kind of blown away, all right? So if some of y'all can do the math of this, I should not have a shadow. You have to tell this to everybody at noon. Look at your shadow, people. Look at your shadow. Prepare for what is coming. As above, so below. Finally, because I'm in a megalithic area, I have several monuments here, especially because the peninsula of Murcia points directly north. And before Christianity, it was north-south. That was the major alignment. And, oh, it's sunny there? Epic. You know these are the end times in Kent, if it's sunny. Picking, of course. And I see that there's no Earl Grey fights going on. So, north-south was the alignment. So I have I have a handful of monuments that are megalithic in nature. Not Neolithic, megalithic in nature. And they all point directly north. And I've been showing friends that and all that kind of stuff around here. I've been giving some small tours and blowing people away. Look how this points north. Look how this points north. They don't get it. I get it because of my Sumerian studies and coming up all the way up into the current Celtic culture, and then from the Celtic culture came the Romans, and the Romans didn't chase out the Celts. Quite the opposite. The Romans do what the Romans do. Look, if you do it our way, we're going to give you food, we're going to give you wine, you're going to have olive oil, I'm going to give you laws, it's no longer going to be up to just anybody. So no, they didn't invade here. Whoever didn't want to go with it, I mean, yeah, get enslaved is what they did. But they didn't kill and slaughter, they just conquered. They needed the labor. They figured out long ago, look, just come in and buy your way through things. Negotiate. The Romans, the Italians were the best at negotiating because it was just everybody had their price. Everybody has their price. We all have our price. So so the Celts were here dominating, and everything megalithic has an alignment. But here in this peninsula, I have several megalithic items that have that alignment of not north-south, not north-south. There's nothing pointing south. Everything that has religious symbolism here on this peninsula, which was the most sacred point of the European Celtic culture, without a doubt. I mean, I can take you on amazing tours of the Celtic nature here and how this was the last battleground when the Christians came. But the Romans were here. Celts, we're cool with it. I've got a Roman shrine here. If y'all want to come talk about this, I'll talk to you. But they didn't preach. They didn't convert anybody. They had their shrines. You had your shrines. We're peace. We're good. We're good. Laws. You want law? Okay, we're good. And then came the Visigoths, and then the Germanic invasion, and then and I hate to say it, but the Catholic invasion. But before that, the Muslims invaded as well. And the Muslims were the same way. They didn't want you to be Muslims. They wanted you to do your own religion. You can't convert to Muslim unless you really meant it back then. You couldn't just say, hey, I'm Muslim. No, you got to do a lot of work before we recognize your Muslimhood. So they didn't dominate the religions. The ones that did it, unfortunately, were the Catholic Church for their very important reasons. All that being said, my north is no longer pointing north magnetically. Up until last month, or about 4 months ago, these monuments all pointed magnetic north. And everything is 15 degrees off magnetic north. So, at 12 o'clock, be like a groundhog, look at your shadow. You shouldn't have one. Yeah. Hey, Hayden. Yes. Every EMP is weak. Understand the nature of what it means. Electromagnetic pulse. So it's going to be weak, Hayden. It's going to be a radio wave. It is going to be a radio wave, very heavy and very thick at a frequency that damages electronics but not humans, plants, or animals. Hayden, today at 12 o'clock noon, go look at your shadow. It is 1.2 meters long. At noon today, you should not have a shadow. Go outside in 20 minutes and look at your shadow. You should not have one. Okay? It's noon. It's high noon for you shortly. So you should have zero shadow, but in fact you have a shadow that has an absolute pointing degrees that the sun is not overhead. Matter of fact, the sun is noticeably 15 degrees off. For you, 12 degrees off. I'm very close to the equator. I wonder if we're just going to not have, any wobbliness anymore, guys. We don't have wobbliness. Much of our wobbliness of this planet is gone. Pretty much the 4 seasons have left us, and you don't even know it. The birds and the animals know that the 4 seasons have left because we talked about it early this morning. But we don't notice it. We're not supposed to notice it, Hayden. This is, so the lights will go out in my house, my fridge and freezer will stop working because of the EMP. Likely so, yes. Yes. And for England, it's going to take y'all about a week or two to get the grid back up. It's going to take, for first world countries, it'll take a week or two to get most of the grid back up. Because most of it is already protected from an EMP. There's going to be spotty places where it's going to affect devices. But an EMP is a radio effect. It's not an electric effect. It's not a bam. No, it's a radio effect. We have radio waves going through us all the time. This is a radio effect that happens all the time. We have radio all throughout us. But it's just going to be a super strong radio effect that anything that is active at the moment that has circuitry, that has a circuit board, this is the important part, Hayden, anything with a circuit board is going to be affected if it is on or sensitive enough. Okay? If it is on or sensitive enough. Now, within the planet, yes, that is correct. Your car is going to be fine. All your cars are going to be fine if it is not running when the event happens. And it's going to be a singularity moment. It's not going to be a long lasting, it's just going to be a radio wave that comes through and goes boom. So if you're driving at the time, it's going boom. Your car is just suddenly not going to be running. Your battery is good. Your engine is good. It's just your circuitry that controls timing is gone. So if you have a country tractor, you're good. But all your cars are going to be good. I'm saying if you have a country tractor that has, a timing belt, something from the 1960s and 70s with a timing belt instead of circuitry, that radio wave, that EMP is going to come through and nothing. They're not even going to notice it. Maybe the radio is not going to be working anymore. The hell happened to my radio? Come on, radio. Hey, why my cell phone not working? What in the heck? All right. Anyway, I'll take care of that when I get back home. So, anything that has a timing chain, you're fine. If anything that has a circuit panel, anything that has a circuit board, will be affected. And if it's very delicate and it's off, it'll get affected. If it's delicate and on, it's going to go blank. Epic? That's a conversation you have to figure out yourself. And before you tell anybody, let me tell you this right here. Y'all are getting so much country and Louisiana talk that I ought to just charge for that entertainment. You do this right here before you open your mouth. before you open your mouth about any of this, you pray. And you don't just do a, please God help me. You just ask God for divine inspiration. You invoke your spirituality. You have a connection with what's happening. You have a channel. All right? If there's any witnessing I'm going to do for you right now, is that you have a channel to figure this out. And that one channel is prayer. And it's not a simple prayer, but it's a deep and heavy prayer. It's not a, all right, I'm going to do, man, I am going to pull out the rosary and go to town. No, sir, no, ma'am, no. And you're not going to pull out your yoga beads. You're not going to pull these guys out and start doing because that ain't it, man. You're going to get deep in prayer. You're going to get quiet with yourself. You're going to clear the channels, clear the airways. All of you guys that were in the military, you know what I'm saying? All right, this is real world event. Clear the channels. And if somebody goes, hey guys, boom, it happened to me when I was in the military. We had a real world event going on during a drill, and they cleared the channels. I didn't hear about it, and I came on with my call signal. And if I didn't get hammered by every senior level person that was on the channel, it was probably one of the worst moments in my military career. So clear your channels, get in prayer, know when it's real, and then just ask God for the wisdom that you need at that moment. But He is giving you the visual to confirm that your sneaking suspicions are real. I have two close friends here in the city that I live in, and they run in the same thought thread that I do. We talk Anunnaki and all that kind of stuff, but they definitely have a fatalist view of when Planet 9 comes in, it's just going to slam into the planet, and the Anunnaki are not even going to feel it, Jeez, and Lord this is a jewel. If you're a car guy and you have your most precious Rolls Royce right there in the garage, are you going to open the garage and just come in and just start hammering it? Especially when times are good? No. No, I'm not going to come here and going to take a sledgehammer to this. And there's not going to be any dark demons that are coming in or any antichrist. I get it, man. I was there. Don't worry. I know where you're coming from. I'm not talking down to you. It's just time is short. Hayden, stop hoping, start praying. All right? Stop panicking. Get control of yourself. Hayden, look at your shadow. Come on. Stop being a keyboard warrior. You are in England. It is 10 minutes to noon right now. You should not have a meter-long shadow. You should not have a 3-foot shadow, man. Do you understand what I'm saying, Hayden? All you have to do is go outside and look. Why is that so difficult for you? Uncle Scorpion, Uncle Scorp. Why are they loosening now? Because the grand event has happened. Over the last month, our planet has slowly been turning 15 degrees, a little bit every day. It's the boiling frog theory. If you throw a live frog, you want some good frog legs, you throw a live frog, which can be your freshest, into a boiling pot, man, that thing's going to jump out. But if you settle a frog into some water and it is enjoying itself and you feed and entertain it and then slowly turn up the heat, well, it's not going to notice it until it's just a little bit too late. It's like, oh man, it's too warm, and its system suddenly stops. So during the lockdown, the panic of the lockdown, which is a totally planned event, thank the creators, the planet was slowly turned. I've got 5 more minutes on the channel. No, 4 more minutes on the channel. Somebody please explain why the shadow matters to Hayden. All right, so the planet's been turned for the last 40 days, so much so that the sun is at a 15-degree angle. We've pretty much lost our 23 degree angle that we used to have that gave us the 4 seasons. So we're probably right now at I'm guessing at a 5-degree angle to where we used to be. And that has done while we've been in lockdown. And we've slept right through it. And also, Venus is not Venus. It is super bright. So in that time, where Venus is right now, they've put something, they've put something, the creators, that is really shining like Venus. But if you have a telescope, and you look at it, it's not a little dot anymore like it used to be. It's a big thing, or I can move my telescope around it, and like I said, it has a big scar. Yes, it has a big scar. I'm like, holy shit, that thing is huge. So I used to look at Venus. It was a beautiful little bright dot in the sky, but now I can move my telescope all around that mother. So whatever is Venus is very close. So it's all happening. They're loosening it right now because everybody's very close to home. Essential air travel only, and that can be grounded very quickly. All right, guys, I gotta go. I still have to work, and I love my job. I'm not quitting it. So, anyways, all right. So I'm signing off. Epic, you're in charge of the comment thread. I'll check in every 25 minutes. Anybody else who wants to moderate and give Epic a break after the next 25 minutes, please send me an email at thebreadcrumbsproject@gmail.com. Your shadow is your most important thing right now, guys. Under Scorpion, I don't have time for that nonsense anymore. All right, time is short.